Hey guys, welcome back. Today I'm doing a week review on this new Maybelline SUPERSTAY Full Coverage Foundation. I actually had to pick up two different shades because I told you all in my haul video that this one, which is in 110 Porcelain, seemed a little light for me. So I went to Walgreens and picked up 112 Natural Ivory. If this is the first time that you've watched one of my videos or one of my week reviews, they are like a first impression. It's kind of my take on a first impression. So I use this product for the very first time and I come back with check-ins throughout the day, like a wear test. And then at the very end of the video, I come back a week later after I have used this for a week and let you know my thoughts on it. Like if my thoughts have changed or if my thoughts have stayed the same on it. I haven't watched any videos on this foundation, so I don't really have any preconceived like thoughts about it. This used to be in their permanent line, then they discontinued it and now they have brought it back. I had never used it before previously, but basically it's a very full coverage foundation that's supposed to look flawless on your skin and last all day long. So that sounds like the perfect foundation. And I like that it comes with a pump. I really wish that they would repackage the Maybelline Fit Me, both of those foundations, and put a pump on those. That would be really nice. So Maybelline, please do that with the Fit Me line. I'm just gonna mix these two together, and I picked up this one at Ulta and I picked up the other one at Walgreens, and at both of those places it was $11.99. I'm just gonna do, I'll probably have to do a couple of pumps. That was, well maybe not, because this is supposed to be like a really full coverage. That is the 112, which it looks like it would probably match me pretty good, but I'm gonna go in with a little bit of 110 Porcelain. This is the 112 and this is the 110. So just gonna mix those two together. I'm not gonna do any more pumps because I wanna see how far this goes, because this will probably be too much. We'll just see. I'm just gonna go in with a dampened beauty sponge, and this is the Peak Cosmetics sponge. I'll link down below where you can get that if you're interested. And I'm just going to start to blend this. I went ahead and also moisturized and primed my face with my Biore, I always say that weird, Biore Aqua Rich UV Aqua Rich Watery Essence. It's a sunscreen, SPF 50 plus. So I used that before to prep my skin to get it ready for the foundation. But yeah, first application wise, like, I'm gonna zoom you guys in a little closer so you can see. So like this side here, I feel like that is very full coverage. It's probably hard to tell because like my natural skin isn't too discolored, but it's definitely a full coverage foundation. I can tell right off the bat. It seems like it blends out really nicely. Seems like it's easy to blend. And those two shades mixed together, match my skin perfectly. And I am gonna need a little bit more foundation for my nose. Probably if I had like dotted the foundation all over my face before I used the sponge, it probably would have been enough, because sometimes, you know, your makeup sponge soaks up some of the foundation. But yeah, I really like this coverage. It's a little, it's more on the matte side. It's not like super matte like the matte and poreless, like the Fit Me matte and poreless. It does have a little bit of like a glow to it, but I feel like once I set it, it probably will look a little more matte. It kind of, the finish reminds me of the Revlon SUPERSTAY. So if I had to compare it to like another foundation, that's what I would compare it to. So I'm just gonna go in with a little more, probably pumped out way too much. And I'm just gonna put it here on my nose. Today it's so nasty out, like it's all rainy and gross, which we got really lucky. I live in Kentucky. That was a rhyme, getting lucky in Kentucky. Do you guys remember those shirts? But anyway, we've gotten really lucky here and we haven't gotten any snow yet. Like, it's so weird because the southern states, like even more south than us, like usually it doesn't snow like in Atlanta or like North and South Carolina or Texas. So it's so weird that we haven't gotten any snow yet. And then this week it's like warmed up, so it's just raining outside and it's like gross and yuck. I mean, I like one good snow, like one good like snowed in weekend, but then like after that I'm over it. So maybe it's for the better that it hasn't snowed yet. Okay, and that coverage is really good like on the first go around, so I'm not going to layer it. I feel like if I was to layer this, it would get really cakey looking, so I'm not gonna do that. I did read a review on Maybelline's website because I went there to just like read what Maybelline said about this foundation, like the description of it. And somebody, I'm just gonna kind of blend right here around my jawline just to make sure everything's blended real good. Because I feel like maybe it is oxidizing just a little bit on my skin. Like it's getting slightly a little darker. So I'll have to play around with these shades. I mean, maybe I can just wear the 110 and maybe it would like oxidize to the right shade. I mean, it's not oxidizing a whole lot. I would say maybe like a half a shade it's oxidized. Just kind of touching up right here actually. So I guess maybe I am kind of going in with a little more. But I read that on the reviews there on Maybelline's website about this foundation, somebody had said that it was a good buildable foundation for them, but I feel like if you went in with a lot of layers with this, it would get cakey really fast. Okay, so now for my concealer, I'm just gonna go in actually with a mix of these two concealers with the Maybelline Fit Me and this is a new concealer, so I guess you guys are kind of getting like a little first impression on this because I haven't worn this yet. This is the Urban Decay All Nighter concealer, and I might have said foundation, but you guys know what I'm talking about. So I'm just going to just do a few dots of both here on my under eye area. Because this shade of the Urban Decay concealer is a little too light for me right now. I wasn't for sure what shade to pick up in this, but this is in Fair Warm and this is in Fair. The Maybelline one is in Fair. Okay, so I'm just gonna go in with that same sponge and just blend this under eye concealer out. Yeah, I feel like those two shades together work really well. And usually I have to go back and add more coverage on my nose, but I don't even have to do that. That foundation is so full coverage. Okay, so now I'm just gonna go ahead and set this foundation because I would normally set my foundations. Through the week, I'll use it not set to see, you know, how it wears and everything. But I'm gonna go in with my L'Oreal True Match Super Blendable Powder because this is the powder that I normally use to set my foundations. And I'm just using my e.l.f. powder brush. And I feel like this foundation feels lightweight on the skin, like it doesn't feel heavy. You know how like some full coverage foundations can just feel really heavy on your skin? I don't feel like this feels heavy at all. And then I'm just gonna set my under eye concealer with my e.l.f. HD under eye setting powder. Just kind of set this out here. First impressions on this foundation, I really like it. I love the finish of it. It does look flawless. I feel like it does hide your pores because I have larger pores, especially right around in here because I have some acne scarring. And kind of on my cheeks, I have large pores. So I feel like it did a good job of smoothing those out. And you can see like once I got the powder on, it did make the foundation look a little more matte. I feel like I got foundation on my sleeve. It did make my foundation look a little bit more matte. So, you know, if you didn't want it to look as matte, you could probably just not set it. And like I said, through the week, I'll try it without the powder and see, you know, wear and everything like that and update you guys on that at the end of the video when I come back a week later. So let me show you guys the time and then I will come back with a couple of different check-ins and just show you guys how the foundation's holding up. I might not be here in this like with my camera for the check-ins. I might just do some check-ins on my phone because I might not be at home because I gotta do some stuff today. It is 10:31 a.m. so I'll see you guys a little later. So right now, I decided to come back for a check-in. Right now it is almost 1:50. Well, I don't know, my watch must be off because my computer says it's 1:46. So I mean, I guess it's close to 1:50, but just to show you guys the time, if you look there on my computer, if my camera will focus, you can see it's 1:47. So yeah, it's close to 1:50. And I thought I would come back with a check-in this way, kind of vlog style. I'm using my camera that I would normally use to film with, but I wanted to show you guys what this foundation looks like in just straight natural lighting. So this is what it looks like. I feel like it's holding up really well so far. I mean, I know it's only been like, what, like 3 hours or something? 10:30, 11:30, 12:30, 1:30, yeah. A little over 3 hours since I've had this on. I want to come back like around 5 hours to do like my 5-hour check-in. But just so you can see what it looks like. I really like this foundation so far. I think it's a really great foundation. The only thing I can say is I do feel like it does oxidize at least a half a shade, probably close to like a shade darker, so I might be able to just get away with a 110 porcelain. So like I told you guys in the beginning, I'll just have to try it throughout the week and see what works best. Okay, so I'm being super lazy right now. I don't feel like putting my camera back on the ring light since I took it off earlier, so I'm just holding it. But I'm back with my 5-hour check-in, which it's a little past 5 hours. As you can see, it's 3:42, so just a little past the 5-hour mark. So I feel like I'm not used to holding this camera and filming. I might need to turn my lights down because I feel like it's super bright on my face. My ring light. Okay. So awkward. Alright. So I hope you guys can see on camera, but this foundation is still holding up super awesome. Let's see if I can zoom in a little bit. I mean, it has gotten a little bit more, I guess, dewy. I'm sorry. Maybe I should put this on the ring light because I feel like this is too vlogish and too crazy. Hold on, let me put it on there. And I'm sorry if the sound's a little echoey. I took my mic off to film a declutter and I just didn't put it back on. And I have to leave soon because my dad's at physical therapy and I have to pick him up. I told you guys he got a knee replacement, so he's going to physical therapy. But yeah, so back with the check-in. As you can see, like, this foundation is holding up so well. I mean, it may have gotten just slightly, let me turn this down because I still feel like it's a little too bright. I feel like it may have gotten a little more dewy, but not really. Like, it just has a good semi-matte finish to it. This is very comparable to my Revlon Color Stay, if not a little more full coverage than the Revlon Color Stay, at least in my opinion. I just really like this foundation so far. I mean, I feel like my makeup looks just like it did when I put it on 5 hours ago. So I'm really impressed by this foundation. So I'll try to come back in 5 more hours. So that would be what? Basically 3:30, 4:30, 5:30, 6:30, 7:30, 8:30. I'll try to come back at 8:30, but I don't know if I can come back just then because Josh and I were going to go to dinner tonight, and I don't know how long that's going to take. So, and I might be filming on my iPhone, so I don't know how great the quality is going to be later, but we'll just see how things pan out. So yeah, I'll see you guys here a little bit later with my last check-in of the day. It's now 8:36. So it's been over 10 hours. Whoa, what's going on with my hair? It's been over 10 hours since I first applied the foundation, and I am still in love with this foundation. Like, if I continue to love this foundation as much as I have today, over the week, this will be like one of my new favorite foundations. It's so long wearing. I mean, it's worn off my nose a little bit here on the tip, and kind of like right around in here and a little bit maybe like around my mouth from dinner. But overall, I'm very impressed with this foundation. And I'm actually really impressed, which I kind of thought this would be really long wearing and I would like it, but I've also really enjoyed this Urban Decay All Nighter Concealer mixed with that Maybelline Fit Me. I feel like that has held up really well throughout the day too. I hope that you've enjoyed this wear test today. It definitely passes my wear test. I feel like if a foundation lasts for at least 10 hours or longer, it's definitely a foundation that I love. It is January the 8th. So I will see you guys here in a week with my review, with my like full review on this foundation. It is January the 15th, so it has been a week since I have been using the Maybelline SUPERSTAY Full Coverage Foundation. And I'm sorry if the lighting is really bright today. Like, it snowed a couple days ago and I feel like all that snow is just like reflecting so much light in this window. I tried to like adjust my lights a little bit, but I don't know if it really helped. So hopefully it's not too bright, but I am in love with this foundation. If I hadn't filmed my top 5 favorites, this one would have taken the place of the Matte and Poreless. Like, I like this one so much. I mean, I still like the Matte and Poreless, but I feel like it makes your skin look even more flawless, and this is even more long wearing. This past week when I wore this foundation to work, whenever I got home from work, I felt like my foundation looked just as good as it did when I left for the day. I mean, it did kind of wear off my nose just a little bit and, you know, around my mouth like it did in the update, because I worked 10-hour shifts at my job. So I don't know, like, I'm in love. If you like the Revlon Color Stay, you will love this because it is very similar to that. But I feel like the coverage on this is more full coverage than the Revlon Color Stay. It's kind of an in-between of this and the Urban Decay All Nighter Foundation. I feel like it's a formula kind of in between those two. It's just such a great formula. I highly recommend it if you like a full coverage, long wearing foundation. If you are a very dry skin type, like if you have trouble with having, you know, flaky skin or issues like that, I don't know if this is gonna be your foundation. It does oxidize. Like, it oxidizes probably a shade darker than what it is whenever you first pump it out. So you definitely need to go a shade down than what you think you're gonna need. Through the week, I just started wearing 110 by itself and that worked out perfect. 110 is the perfect shade for me. And usually in like the Maybelline foundations, that's normally the shade I wear is 110. So I don't know, maybe whatever shade you would normally get in the Maybelline foundation, maybe get that shade even though it may seem a little light. Because whenever I saw this shade, I thought for like 110 it looked a little light. So yeah, I don't know, but it does oxidize, so keep that in mind. I mean, it works anyway, like setting it with a powder, not setting spray, it like lasts no matter what you do. But I find that with the powder and setting spray together, just makes it last even longer. So yeah, I think that's all that I want to say about this foundation. But if maybe I missed something that I forgot to tell you guys and you know, you want to ask me, just leave it down in the comments and I will get back with you if you have any questions about it. Like, I'm so excited for this foundation. Like, it's been a while since I have found a drugstore foundation that I was just super in love with, but this definitely meets up to the hype and the expectation. It totally did. So yeah, highly recommend it. New favorite. I'm filming today. I don't actually have this foundation on today because I'm filming a first impression week review on this new Wet n Wild Mega Cushion foundation. So that'll be coming up within the next week or so. So be on the lookout for that video. But if there's, you know, another product you'd like for me to review, just leave it down in the comments. And I hope that you guys are having a great day and I will see you all in my next video. Bye-bye. Mwah.